this is Tina, and today I am going to show you how to make this cute light bulb tag for Christmas in July. So this is a wool felt, and I'll put the link where I got it. I got it from Benzie Designs on Etsy, and it's great for die cutting. Not all wool felt is great for die cutting, but this one that Benzie sells is great for die cutting. And it could be a tag to start out with, but then an ornament for the recipient. This is the tag that can say to and from, and this is a little twine that can go on the present. So we're going to make this. I'm going to show you how to make a purple one. So I cut these out from some of the wool blend felt, and the dies are from Pashta Design, and I will put a link to their dies in the description below. And they're great because they have the holes for the stitching, which is amazing because you can use any card making dies to cut out wool blend felt, but Pashta Design has the holes, and some other companies do too, but I really like that about her dies. Okay, what else are we going to need? We are going to use some DMC floss. This is B5200. It's a nice white because we're going to blanket stitch this all the way around. That's what I did here. So I'll show you how to blanket stitch. And you can buy this anywhere, any big box store. We're going to need a little bit of polyfill for our little Christmas light. I have a needle. I believe this is a size 24, so it has a pretty big eye. And to thread that, we can use this needle threader to make our lives a little easier. I also cut out this tag, and this is from a Lawn Fawn die set. I'll put a link to that too, and this is also Lawn Fawn. I tried to match the color purple, but I didn't have this exact color in cardstock, but I tried to match it anyway. So that we will use to kind of spruce up the tag a little bit. And then some twine. Again, I tried to match a purple twine. That was the closest I had. And so for this, for the blanket stitch and the floss, this DMC comes in 6 strands. Well, we want to separate that out. We want to use 2. And so you separate your strands into 2 strands, and you'll want it kind of long because what you don't want to do is get around halfway and then have to get more floss and start over. We want to have a nice seamless blanket stitch all around. So I cut this probably way longer than I needed to, but if I stretch it out, it's probably fingertips to fingertips. And I don't care if I have extra. I want to make sure I have enough. So I'm going to push everything that I will not need off here, and we'll start by threading the needle. Now you can just thread it like this, but as long as I have this needle threader, I'm going to use it. So I'm just going to put my needle threader, the metal ends, through the eye of the needle. Then I just put my floss through and pull the needle threader through. What a great invention. Now, because our floss is kind of long, we do want to be able to manage it without getting too many knots. But I am pulling the end of the floss fairly close to the other end. So it's about that close. That gives us enough to work with. Okay, now we're ready for our blanket stitch. Oh, I forgot. Something else we want is a little bit of tape. So I'm just going to break off a little bit. I'm even going to rip this in half of Scotch tape. And I'm going to take one of my Christmas lights, and I'm just going to place my needle down through the felt, pulling it until I have about ½ an inch. Doesn't matter. We are not going to end up knotting this because we are filling our bulb with polyfill. we're never going to see this tape, so it can just be secure right there and stay out of our way. Then I'm going to place the other felt piece on top. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to go through the first hole that I went through. And now I'm coming up through both pieces of felt. And seriously, I got a knot right at the beginning. Oh well, there we go. Easy peasy. That was an easy knot to get rid of. For the blanket stitch, I'm gonna not pull it all the way. I want to keep a little loop, and that's in the back. So now my needle and my thread are in the front. I'm going to poke my needle down, pull it, not too tight. I don't want my felt to pucker, just like that. And that's a blanket stitch. Yay! So now from the back, we're going to go back up to the front, pulling it through until I have a little loop. And then my needle comes down through the loop. Blanket stitch. Not bad, right? That's not too hard. Yay! We're always going to come up through the bottom. And then bring our needle up to the top. Maybe I shouldn't say always, but for this project, I think so. Now, yes, another knot. I just had the worst knot. Okay, so I just edited that out because that took me forever to untangle. Okay, coming up through the back. What was I going to say before that terrible knot? Oh, you can just sew, to connect the dots. You don't have to do a blanket stitch, but I like the decorative edge that it gives. So I thought I would do a blanket stitch with these Pashta design pieces. And also, I believe Pashta design also has felt that you can buy. I just got mine off of Etsy, but you can do, one-stop shopping with Pashta. No problem. Look, I got another knot. There we go. Not every felt will die cut well. In fact, not even every wool felt blend will die cut well. I have tried many, and it's just not worth it if you have to run it through a couple of times through your die cutting machine or have to follow up with your scissors because it didn't die cut well. Not worth it. So get the good kind of felt that die cuts well, and it makes your life easier. So I'm just going to continue blanket stitching all the way around this bulb until I get to about here. So I'll probably speed this video up. Okay, we made it all the way around the bulb, and our thread or our floss is in the back. Keep your needle threaded. So now we're going to take our polyfill, and we're going to fill this up. Don't need much of this at all. I'm going to grab a pencil. We're only going to fill the Christmas light bulb portion, not the top. Wouldn't it be cute to die cut a bunch of these in different colors and sew them up, fill them up, and string them together for decoration. That would be cute. There we go. Get in there. Okay. Now we're going to take our bulb topper, and you could die cut these out of any color. I just die cut it out of black, and fold it over. And we're just going to hold it in place. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to blanket stitch around. Now the black felt, I've learned, does make it a little harder to see the holes. Kind of wish I would have done different color, but that's okay. I know there's purple holes in there. I just gotta put my needle in there and hope to go through it. So we're going through 4 layers of felt right now, and just blanket stitching all around. Okay, when I get to the corner, I'm gonna want to have some stitching on this side, and I'm gonna want to have some stitching on the top. So that means I'm gonna go through this hole, front and back. I'm gonna go through this hole twice, just so I can round the corner. So I'm just gonna come back through the hole I just went through, blanket stitch down, but this time I'm gonna leave that thread up at the top, just to give the top a nice little finish. Even though it's not open at the top, I just want to give it a nice finish. I think there's 4, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 holes at the top. And then when it gets close to the end here, just pull your needle and give yourself a little more floss to deal with. If there's a hardest part to this project, this is probably it. But it's not really that hard. And just like anything else that's handmade, if you give this to somebody as a little tag for their Christmas present, they're going to love it. So I'm at this corner now. I'm going to want to stitch down here. So I'm going to go back through this same hole, just like I did on the other corner, and just turn the corner. Yes, so nobody's going to look at your stitching and go, well, nice present and all, but your stitching is not quite on point. That would be terrible. So no, we always scrutinize our own work, and other people, they love it. They just love that you thought of them, and they love that you gave them something, and that you took the time to make it yourself. And everybody just has to think, you know what, they're gonna love it. Okay, so I'm at the starting point. I'm going to do one more blanket stitch, kind of to close this gap. So I'm going to go back through this hole and do one blanket stitch to meet up with that hole. Okay, so now we see there's some holes here. Looks like there's 2 there and 3 there, but we're gonna just make it work. And as you look, there does tend to be a front and a back. Like this is the back side and this is the front. I try to keep them both very neat, but you know, sometimes it just happens there's a back side. So to use these holes here and to add a little finishing touch, I'm gonna take it through the back. I'm gonna start at the black bulb topper, And I'm just going to come down through the purple. Did I come down through the same hole? There we go. Sometimes I don't poke all my holes out. I figure the needle's going to poke the holes out, and then the little felt ends up there. So you don't see the hole at first. Oh yeah, there's one there. So sometimes it's like hard to see if the hole didn't come out, the little piece of felt didn't come out, but that's okay. So I'm just doing basic stitches right here, you know, no blanket stitch, just closing that up. All right. I didn't go through here and here. I'm not going to worry about it because it's hard to see those holes anyway. So I'm just going to put 2 there. Pretty forgiving project. Okay, now all we need to do is we're going to make a little loop for the top. So I'm going to start from the back and I'm going to go up through. I'm going to go up through this hole. And I'm going to bring my needle straight up the top. There's not a hole there, but I'm making one. And then I was able to add another stitch there. So now I've come up through the top. So it hangs like that. I'm going to use my finger and make a little loop. And my finger came out. And I'm just going to try to knot this in an inconspicuous way. So I'm going to bring my thread into this hole and out that one. And then I'm going to do that again. Same hole. But now I've made a little loop. And I can then just bring my needle up through that little loop and pull. And I've got a knot. I could tie this off right here, but I kind of want to hide it a little more. So I'm just going to bring my needle down through that existing hole, bring it down here and out this side hole. We do this in crochet. When we make amigurumi, we end up bringing our end piece in through the polyfill and out the side of whatever we're making. And so I'm just going to kind of borrow a little technique from that. And here we go. So again, they can use this as a little ornament once you give them the gift. This one's kind of puffy, but that's okay. And all I did here was just kind of, I die cut this piece just to, you know, zhuzh it up a little bit. I could just use the white, but I'm just going to add a little something, something. So I'm just going to cut this in half. Again, this is a Lawn Fawn die. It's with the reindeer set. And this would be where I write to and from. Now, because we're making something for Christmas in July, make sure you put any Christmas items in a special place so that in December you don't forget you have it. Okay, there we go. Now we've got this little twine. It's purple and white. And I'm going to fold it in half and then put the folded end in this tag. I did use 110-pound white cardstock for the tag just to give it some durability. Which way is my front? Here it is. And then I'm just going to put this loop through here too. Put the ends through the loop and pull. Now I can attach this to a present and the recipient will be like, what? You made that? And that's why we made this on You Made That. So here's the little felted blanket stitch tags. And I appreciate you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate you and see you next time.